Namaste, good night. So I'm going to read Book 6, Chapter 11 on the ascertainment of Dharma. Om Bhagavatam Maha Koti Surya Nirvignam Kurumita Sarvakaya Om Ekarantaya Bhagavatam Nayajvatati Prashadaya. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Perception. Janamajaya said, O king of the Brahmanas, you said that the Rama and Krishna took their incarnations to relieve the burden of earth. One great doubt arises in my mind on this point. At the end of the Dwapara Yuga, the earth, burdened and oppressed very much, assumed in anguish the form of a cow and took refuge under Brahma. Brahma then went with the earth to Vishnu, the Lord of Lakshmi, and thus prayed, O Bhibhu, let you, with all the other gods, incarnate soon on earth at the house of Vasudeva to relieve the earth of her load, as well as to protect the righteousness. When Brahma thus prayed, the Bhagavan Vishnu incarnated as the son of Devaki along with Balarama to lessen the burden of the earth, and in fact he relieved to a certain extent the earth by killing many vicious persons and many wicked and irreligious kings. But along with that, Bhishma, Drona, Virata, Drupada, Somadatta, and Karna, the son of the sun, were killed. But see that those who plundered afterwards his riches and stole away the wives of Hari, those crores of Abhiras, Sankas, Mlachas, and Nisadas, and other vicious people remained alive. And how could it then be said that the earth was relieved when Krishna did not kill those people? O fortunate one, when I see all the people in this Kali Yuga addicted to sinful acts, the great doubt is not going out of my mind, how the earth had been relieved of her load. Vyasa said, O king, as the Yuga changes, so the people changes in course of time. Nothing can alter its course, for this is caused by the Yuga Dharma, the Dharma particular to each Yuga. Therefore, if all the subjects that are considered wicked and vicious according to the law of the Yuga Dharma, then this creation would be destroyed. Hence Krishna killed only those Danavas and vicious Kshatriyas that were really the burden of earth. O king, the persons that are devoted to religion take their birth in the Satya Yuga. Those that are fond of religion and wealth then become manifest in the Treta Yuga. Those that, like dharma, religion, artha, wealth, and kama desires, they are born in the Dwapara Yuga. And those that dote on wealth and lust, they are seen in the Kali Yuga. O king, know this as certain, that these characteristics particular to each yuga never vary, and know this too, that time, the Lord of Dharma and Adharma, is always present. The king said, O intelligent one, where are those pious persons now that were born as high-souled religious persons in the Satya Yuga? Where are those munis now who were devoted to charity in the Treta or Dwapara Yuga? Again, where will go these shameless and merciless persons that are being seen now in this Kali Yuga? These vicious creatures that revel their own gurus. O highly intelligent one, I am very eager to know how these religious matters are brought to a decision and settlement. Kindly describe to me in detail all these secret truths. Vyasa said, O king, persons born at the Satya Yuga that performs acts of merit go to the Devaloka. O king, the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vyasas, and Sudras, if they remain in their own spheres, and if they be devoted to religious acts, go to their respective spheres, earned by their virtuous deeds. by virtue of truth, mercy, charity, going to one's own wives, not injuring animals, and having no jealousy, and showing mercy equally towards all. By practicing these universal forms of religion, even the lowest castes, example, washermen and others, all go to the paradise. So, in the Treta and Dwapara Yugas, men go to heaven by virtue of their merits, earned in practicing their own dharma. But in this Kali Yuga, persons addicted to vicious acts go to terrible hells and remain there till the end of the Kali Yuga, when they will be again born in this earth. O king, when the Satya Yuga begins at the Kali Yuga ends at this junction time, the virtuous, high-souled persons descend from heaven and are born on this earth. And when the Kali begins and the Dwapara ends, the vicious souls come on earth again from their hells. O king, know this as the course of time. It never becomes otherwise. See, then, that the Kali Yuga tends to do vicious things, and the people, therefore, becomes vicious. At times, the birth of beings takes place otherwise than the laws of yogas, out of the strange combinations of fate, i.e., good do virtuous acts in the Kali Yuga are born as men in the Dwapara Yuga. So the Dwapara good Satya Yuga. Read that again. For this reasons, those that do virtuous acts in the Kali Yuga are born as men in the Dwapara. So the Dwapara good persons take their births as men in the Treta. The Treta good persons are born as men in the Satya Yuga. Again, those who are vicious in the Satya Yuga become persons of the Kali Yuga. The jivas suffer miseries on account of their own bad karmas. They again suffer more miseries by doing over and over again those bad karmas by virtue of the Yuga Dharma. Janamejaya said, O Bhagavan, describe particularly the details of the Yuga Dharma. I am now very desirous to hear which Dharma is for which Yuga. Vyasa said, O king, I will now show to you by example the influence of the religion particular to each Yuga. Hear it attentively, O king. The hearts even of saints are quite disturbed by the Yuga Dharma. See, your father was a religious and high-souled monarch. Still, the wicked Kali defiled his mind and prompted him to do an act very insulting to a Brahmana. Otherwise, why would he? Being a renowned prince amongst the Kshatriyas and a descendant of Yayati, thus go and encircle a snake round the throat of an ascetic Brahmin. Therefore, king, all actions are being influenced by the Yuga Dharma. The Pandits also recognize this. If you try your best to perform any religious act, even then the Yuga Dharma would prevail. Yet you would be able to perform a certain extent. A part of your intention, O king, in the Satya Yuga, the Brahmins were versed in the Vedas, always devoted to the worship the highest force, with an ardent desire to see the Devi. They were devoted to Gayatri and Pranava, devoted to the meditation of Gayatri, always reciting silently Gayatri and the Maya Vija mantra, the chief mantra. In every village, the Brahmins were very eager to erect temples of the Devi Mahamaya Ambika and were truthful, merciful, and pure and devoted to their own respective works. The Kshatriyas, skilled in the science of the highest knowledge, were ever engaged in doing things ordained by the Vedas and were always intent in protecting well their subjects. The Vaishyas did their cultivation and trade with the Sudras, always served the other three castes. Thus, in the Satya Yuga, all the Varnas castes were devoted to the worship of the Devi Ambika, the highest Shakti. But in the Treta Yuga, the observance of the religion declined a little, and in the Dwapara, it declined very much. O ornament of Indra, those who were Rakshasas before, they become the Brahmins of the Kali Yuga. They are the flowers of atheists, deceptors of men, untruthful, without any Vedas, devoid of the Vedic practices, arrogant, cunning, egotistic, and capable only to serve the Sudras Some of them try to find fault with the Sanatan Dharma and are the promulgators of various other creeds, wicked, fallen from their religion and given to much talking. O king, as Kali gets stronger, so the true religion declines and ultimately dies, and in that proportion, the Kshatriyas, Vyashas, Sudras are also devoid of their religion. When Kali will be in full swing, the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras will all be untruthful. Vishas, the Brahmins, will act like Sudras and will accept others' gifts. O king, the women in the Kali Yuga would be very passionate, avaricious, and ignorant. They would be very powerful and insolent, willful, vicious, and untruthful, and so would be a source of pain to the society. They would think themselves vainly religious and learned, and would be always ready to impart religious instructions and deceive their own husbands and be exceedingly vicious. O king, our minds are purified by the food that we take. When our minds are pure, the light of Dharma shines clearly. The customs and practices of Varna and Asrama dharmas get intermixed with each other, and so arises the fault of Dharma Samkara, i.e. mixture of the several parts of religion with each other. When the Dharma Samkara creeps in, the Varna Sankara is seen, i.e. purity in blood and other matters of birth are lost. Thus, in the Kali Yuga, all the dharmas will gradually die out, and ultimately nothing will be heard about one's own religion. O king, in this yuga, even the religious high-soul persons will be found to do irreligious acts. The nature of Kali is so. Nobody will be able to quit it. O king, thus in this age, men naturally commit vicious things with ordinary means. Therefore, no one becomes able to extricate from the worst vicious habits. Janamejaya said, O Bhagavan, you know all and you are versed in all the sastras. What will be the fate of so many persons in this Kali Yuga? If there be any path, kindly describe it to me. Vyasa said, O king, there is only one path and none other which can save a man from the sin of this Kali. And that is this: the jivas must meditate on the lotus feet of the highest Devi for the purification of all their faults and sins. O king, there is so much strength in her sin-destroying name that the amount of sin in this world falls much less in proportion to that. Where then is the cause of fear? Her name, uttered at random, even in an unconscious state, bestows so much unspeakable results that even Hari, Hara, and others have not the capacity to know that. O king, the mere remembrance of the name of Sri Devi is an atonement for a multitude of sins. Then it behoves that every man afraid of the Kali Yuga residing in a place of pilgrimage ought to remember incessantly the name of the highest Devi, even if anybody cuts, pierces, and kills all the beings in this whole world. He won't be touched with the sins if he bows down with devotion before the Devi. O king, I have narrated to you all the secret truths of the sastras. Consider all these fully and always worship the lotus feet of the Devi. All men are reciting silently the japam called the Ajapa Gayatri. Still, they do not know the glory of it. Such is the powerful influence of Maya. All the Brahmanas are reciting in the depth of their hearts the Gayatri mantra, yet they do not know the glory of it. Otherwise, they would have been liberated. Such is the great influence of Maya. O king, I have described to you all that you ask me about the yoga dharmas. What more do you want to hear? Here ends the 11th chapter of the 6th book on the ascertainment of Dharma in the Maha Puranam Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedvyas. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Kapalani Durga Kashma Shivadatri Swaha Swatha Namasute. Om Tuya Mata Chapita Tuya Bandhus Chacha Sakato Tuya Vidya Divinam